All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Four Corners Podcast. This is the Four Corners Network, and this
Actually,
is
actually, I thought this was only that on the Four Corners Network. The Four Corners podcast just ended.
no. This is the Four Corners Podcast. We were still under the Four Corners Podcast banner here, but this is the let's say the second part. This is the bonus part to the Four Corners Podcast. It is the dark side of the podcast. I am your host with the most, from coast to coast, from across the pond to far and beyond, from the North Pole to the South Pole, and god damn, that's a mouthful. Pro wrestler Chris Rex, alongside my best friend, my tag team partner, the host of all hosts, John motherfucking Punn. Punn, how we doing today?
I think you just answered this a little while ago. We are excellent and improving. And since it's the dark side of the podcast, I made my room darker for you. You know, it's the dark side of the podcast. We got to be dark. Let's go.
I'm actually going to make my room lighter myself because it's getting a little dark out there.
So we switched it up.
So, for those that don't know, Dark Side of the Podcast has been around for about 3 to 4 years now. About 4
This
years.
is season 4. This is season 4. Yep.
It started with me and Bearman. It's what got me started in podcasting, where we would cover each episode of Dark Side of the Podcast. And we're bringing it back right now, and we're starting off with episode 1, which aired Tuesday, Chris and Tammy.
Chris and Tammy, also known as Sonny and Chris
Yes.
Candido. These two, all right, let's get right into it. These two met as teenagers. They fell in love young. Sonny was in pre-med in college, and Chris Candido was working the indie scene,
Yeah.
Sonny never, I just learned this today. I mean, because I just watched it today. I didn't watch it Tuesday. I just learned that she never had aspirations of being a wrestler. She was saying back then, this was Chris Candido's thing. This is his thing. This is his thing. So, I just learned that today. That was something I didn't know.
Damn, Heavy D's getting heated already. Don't worry, DD. We're gonna get to all the hate. Okay, we're gonna get to all the hate. But
we're gonna try to go step by step through the episode, D. So hold your horses. We'll get to Shawn Michaels. We'll get to Paul Heyman. We'll get to all that. Yeah, I got a fresh recollection, so I'll run through it if you want.
Like you said, they're high school sweethearts. I thought it was funny that he pretty much ditched his high school prom date to go with Sonny, Tammy. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, that's some badass shit.
One thing I did want to bring up is how he started the Extreme Kids Wrestling Federation as a teenager. I started Extreme Teen Wrestling as a teenager. I just thought that was so fucking cool. I said, yes, his backyard name was similar to mine.
That belt he made too that shit looked legit, bro. Out of a wedding plate.
So did ours, though. But yes, his belt was better than ours.
Theirs weren't made out of cardboard.
No, but they were on weight belts and taped up nicely and designed nicely.
I'm telling you, Chris Candido's definitely looked better.
Even though ours were made out of cardboard, they withlasted rain, they withlasted snow. They survived. But so he got his start in the indies, and then he got called Smoky Mountain Wrestling by Jim Cornette. So he went down to Tennessee with Sonny, and that's where Sonny first started getting her feet wet in professional wrestling.
Now, when he called Cornette and he was asking Cornette for a job, and he sent him tapes, Cornette finally gave him the call. Cornette said he didn't want to make that call because he knew it wouldn't be pretty much good for the kid to move all the way down to Tennessee, and when he can only pay him $75 a night, 4 nights a week, he wouldn't be able to live off of that. And lo and behold, he's telling his mom he wants to do this Smoky Mountain trip because, well, he's seen Sonny. Cornette seen Sonny and figured there's something about her. I can bring them both in and pay them both. Chris Candido's mom, who was hugely against him wrestling in the first place, did not want him to do the trip to Smoky Mountain Wrestling unless he was going to school. Well, smart Chris, okay? Chris Candido applied to the University of Tennessee and got in. So now he can go to Smoky Mountain Wrestling because he's going to the University of Tennessee. I thought that was a pretty intelligent, not slick, but intelligent move for someone to do.
Hey, if your mom doesn't support you, unless you're doing it her way, you got to do it her way.
Well, and then the fact that he was like, okay, I'll go to school in Tennessee. Like, you're not taking this from me, you know? What type of Doritos is those?
We got Blazing Buffalo and Ranch.
Blazing Buffalo Ranch. So
let's go.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling is really where they started coming out, you know, especially Sonny. She played the perfect gimmick at the time. Punn, why don't you explain the gimmick?
So at this time, we had the Clintons were president, you know, and they were Democrats, and down there in Tennessee, it was redneck Republican area. So they brought in Sonny, you know, as the complete opposite of what they were down there, you know, and she had the perfect. They didn't know if she was going to be good on the mic, but she was perfect for what they envisioned. They brought her in, and everybody hated her instantly, you know, and it was shocking. Nobody knew what to expect when she opened her mouth on the mic for the first time, and she played it beautiful. She did her promo in one take. I remember him saying that first promo was done in one take, no restarts, no refilming, and she was just a natural at doing this, you know. And I gotta say, for her start, that was pretty good. What was she, 19 years old?
Yeah, I would say
at that time, give or take. So that was a good start for her in the wrestling industry. Where it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean this is where the story it gets good for them both, and then it quickly gets bad. They get the offer to go to WWF, both of them, and they're put in a gimmick that at that time everybody had kind of like a job in wrestling. What I mean by job is there was IRS Man,
the Repo Man,
Dumpster Josie. There was who else was a gimmick? Yeah, Dr. Isaac Yankem, DDS. I mean, you had everybody had was like a job, a Repo Man.
Yeah.
Everybody was like we had the plumber. I forgot what TL Hopper. They had the
goon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were kind of
came in as bodybuilders
of fitness gurus and bodybuilders, which I think that was really the start of not taking them seriously. But Sonny, being the cute, skinny blonde that was dancing around and shaking it, at that time, it was the start of the internet, and she became the star. She became the star, and people wanted to see Sonny. She was the most downloaded woman on the internet in like 1995 on AOL, which I found funny that Terry Runnels. Reynolds said, what was it? Oh, back when Jesus was born, we had AOL.
Yeah. But damn, Terry let herself go, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad.
Yep. That's sad. We got to see her on Dark Side of the Podcast.
As Sonny's fame grew, she grew an ego. And there was at one point, the Godwins had the slot bucket. And Henry Godwin had the slot bucket, put it down, and said, "Nobody do anything to this bucket. It's going on Tammy tonight." Well, everybody took that invitation to do God knows what in that bucket.
There was DNA from at least 20 people in that bucket.
Listen, whatever happened, whatever she said, whatever cockiness she had, I don't think it warranted for that. I'm sorry. I don't think it warranted for that. To have that bucket dumped on, like, that's fucking disgusting, bro. That's really disgusting. And it was also around this time that the Body Donna's gimmick started going down. Chris Candido started slipping down the ranks as Sunny started getting popular. She was hanging around Shawn Michaels, who was the top guy, and they had let's straight out say an affair. Let's straight out say it was an affair. She was with the top guy, Shawn Michaels. Punn, you froze for a second there. Punn.
No, but I'm here.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
They had an affair. And whether Chris Candido knew about it, didn't know about it, I'm sure he had to have known about it, man. He had.
It was done right in front of him.
It was done right, exactly, and like, I just feel bad that he was that obsessed with Tammy.
Yeah,
I'm just really like said that issue. He was that he chose to ignore that rather than, like Jim Cornette said, if that was anybody else, if that was Shawn Michaels on the street, he would have fucked him up, tore him up.
Yeah.
But because he loved wrestling so much, and he just decided not to do anything about it. And that was another thing that was his downfall, is his love for wrestling. His love for Sunny and his love for wrestling, which both went hand in hand. And that started really a downfall. Think about the mental stress that takes on a man. To have this shit doing right in front of your face. Everybody's talking about it, laughing about it, joking about it. Shawn Michaels being an asshole around that time. You know, probably throwing
Shawn Michaels had no fucks given at that time.
He's probably throwing it right in his face. I mean, I feel bad for Chris. I really do. And the shit his brother experienced throughout their relationship. His little brother seen a lot of shit he shouldn't have. Chris Candido left WWF and went back to ECW, where he was starting, that's kind of where he was more respected. And then shortly after, Sunny
he started the triple threat. He started the triple threat with Shane Douglas.
Shortly, Sunny would join him because Sable came into WWF and became more popular than Sunny. And Sunny's addictions and party animal lifestyle, which neither of them were drinkers, smokers, pill poppers, none of that. They were clean before they got to WWF. Yeah. And it wasn't until Tammy started partying and Chris's injury started he broke his neck, that his injury started getting to him, that he started popping somas.
Yep.
And that's really where the downfall started, Punn.
Yeah, and then when they went to ECW, it was more readily accessible to get the somas. They had it much easier in ECW. And
I'm sure there was a lot more than somas. I'm sure.
Sunny, yeah. They said it was a hallucinogen. It made them euphoric.
No. I'm saying there was a lot more than somas. You know what I mean?
They were saying it was somas and alcohol. That's what they mainly were saying on.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, we both know this is. It is a little bit more. You know what I mean? I put myself in their shoes. Definitely, there would be more.
But I can still see that in the 90s, man. I don't think there was really too much more but the painkillers and the alcohol
really?
And the cocaine.
What do you mean? Cocaine was still fucking around.
But
New Jack was snorting coke.
I don't think they were though. I really don't. I think it was really just the pills. Right.
But here's the thing. Now their drug addiction started getting worse. So Paul Heyman, what he does now, this is fucked up, D. This is where you come in, D. This is where you can let your feelings out, D. Paul Paul Heyman decided, instead of giving them time off, sending them to rehab, things like that, he decided that Sonny would film kind of an expose on the drug use, what happened and how it got this bad, and played it on TV. It was directed by Paul Heyman, and Cornette hated it. I hated it when I was those little clips that they showed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't the right thing to do.
I don't remember that.
Nope. That wasn't the right thing to do, bro. Like I didn't watch it. I was watching ECW around the time, but I didn't see that, or remember seeing that. But here thinking, like, bro, that's not something you do with someone with a problem. You don't expose them like that, especially when they're in the public eye like that. You don't expose them. That just makes it worse, because I'm sure she went home.
It did make it worse.
I'm sure she went home and it boom, because now you're bringing up all this shit, taking money, exposing vulnerable people. Exactly, D. Exactly. You're profiting off of somebody's vulnerability, their problems, their issues in life. It's manipulation, and I think that was fucked up to do. And D says, apologize, bitch.
The reason why Heyman did it was for the ratings, and it was a really fucked up thing to do.
Yeah. Now another thing that was fucked up to do, it was shortly after this, was he decided to give them jobs in the office, and they would be in charge of booking the talent and booking the flights for the talent. And Kris would use his credit card, and they would get reimbursed cash by ECW. Well, eventually
ECW started to crumble. ECW started to crumble.
Started to go bankrupt, and they were left.
Paul Heyman didn't tell them.
Yeah, did not say a word to them, and they were left with this huge debt where they lost their home.
Yep.
Another thing that was fucked up to do to them. Like, now it comes from, okay, now I can't really blame them, because look at the situations they're being put in now. They're forced to expose their shit in the public eye, and now they're promised by this man who they feel they can trust, and he doesn't even tell them, like, hey, we're starting to crumble, da da da. Just leaves them with this debt, which I don't know if they ever got paid.
Doubt it.
I'm pretty sure they didn't. And now it's like, damn, now this is just sad for these two kids, man, because they're still young at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They're still young at this point. And it just dives them even darker, into a darker path.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, man. It was pretty bad. Then he recuperates from his injuries, and he ends up coming back to wrestling when Impact.
Puerto Rico. No. Well, remember, they went to Puerto Rico first.
They did go to Puerto Rico first.
Puerto Rico, where the conditions were horrible.
Stuff thrown at them, whether they were heel or face or whatever it may be. That was a bad idea, I think, altogether. Once they got there and went through that the first night, they should have left.
But, and now they're getting the money, and like they said, in Puerto Rico, it was easier to get the pills.
Yep.
So it worked for them. Again, that's when their addiction came over their sense of, okay, we shouldn't be here. No, we shouldn't be going through this. But you know what? Fuck it. We can kind of live our lifestyle here. And eventually that dries up too, D says, Chris, honestly, I really hate wrestling.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And then after Puerto Rico is when they went to Impact, right?
Yes, and Chris started a little comeback. And
he was wrestling great. Yeah. he got clean. He got clean.
Like
he was wrestling great.
It was like Smoky Mountain days again. Like, he rejuvenated his career. He was off the drugs, and unfortunately, fucking things that happened in the ring happened. He slipped trying to avoid a camera so he could take a bump, and broke his shin, bro, in a cage match.
Left the match. He regretted leaving the match.
And that's crazy. That the one thing, like, he wasn't worried about anything else. That he was worried about that the fact that he left the match and how everyone would see him because he left the match.
Yep. That was crazy. You know,
Deep just brought up something. Deep brought up, I don't know if y'all remember, they were chanting his name in the first ECW One Night Stand in Lance Storm versus Y2J. Interesting.
I guess, yeah, I think so. I think I do remember something like that.
But
yeah, man. And then, he did the dumb thing, though, by flying home after the surgery.
Yeah.
And that's what ultimately led to his death because of the blood clots that formed.
Yes. For those that don't know, because I didn't know this up until they said it, if you have a surgery and you fly before you're healed, you have a very high chance of getting blood clots. And unfortunately, this wound up going to his lungs, into his heart, and that's what ultimately killed him. Sad, man, because he was just about to have that comeback. He was still young. He was only he was 33. I'm about to turn 33 in 2 months. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. It's definitely a sad loss. I know his little brother looked up to him.
Yep. His brother took it hard.
You could see how the wrestling business took it. Like Lance Storm, Jim Cornette,
all of them. Tom Pritchard.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all of them burst out crying as soon as they started talking about it.
They all say he was a good guy. He like, this wasn't like the life that he was supposed to have. Now let's talk about Tammy, man. Let's get it out now. She fucked his life up, bro. She fucked his life up. And she just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And now she can't even admit guilt about killing an old lady in a car accident. At some point,
7 DUIs.
At some point, yeah, she didn't even have a license when she was driving.
Yeah.
Like, what?
She's doing 20 years now.
You got to answer for it, man.
She's doing 20 years now, and she'll probably die in prison. With as fucked up as she was in her younger years on the drugs and alcohol, she'll probably die in prison doing this 20 years.
And you know what's crazy is that, unfortunately, Chris's life was gone.
Way
I'm
too
not
early.
saying she killed him, but I'm sure he started taking pills because of her. At first, it's for the pain.
I won't go that far, only because he was clean when he died. I won't go that far to say
No. I'm saying, like, as far as as driving him further down. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I get what you mean, but I won't go that far because he was already clean 2 years. He was back on top of his game.
Yes,
that's why I won't go to
the
point that
he would have just, back in 1995, stood up for himself and left the relationship for good.
He still got on the pills himself when he broke his neck. That wasn't her.
I don't know, because the timeline is she's taking pills.
She started doing no. What they said is she started doing the pills when she was fucking Shawn Michaels. That's when she started doing the pills with the Click. He started doing the pills when he broke his neck. It was two separate things.
But they were still. It's not like they were. They were still together at the time, though. And then, like they said, it started with him taking them for the next pain. And then with all the shit you're going through, if they weren't, like, if she wasn't doing this shit right in front of his face and fucking Shawn Michaels, I'm sure he probably would have just used it.
Let's go, Shawn! Yeah.
He hates you right now.
Let's go, Shawn Michaels.
But all in all, it's
still my
idol for both of them. It's sad that this is the route that happens, and this happens in wrestling quite frequently. I mean, unfortunately, we hear about it all the time.
Yeah, it does.
I'm
How
not
many
sure if
people
you.
how many people in my wrestling career tried to get with my wife? I mean, like, so
Well, no, I'm not
it
talking
is
about that.
it's
I'm
a
talking
common
about
thing
the
in
fucking
wrestling, you know.
the
It,
tragedy like this. Fuck sleeping with wives, man. Just
the
being
drugs and alcohol.
the drugs, the downfall, the quick downfall. You know what I mean? It's like you're on top and then boom, and you just like let yourself
Yeah.
go. That's crazy, bro. Like I can't ever bring myself to that point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I have my fun, I party, but I can't ever let myself
Yeah.
get to that point. Like I wouldn't be able to deal with somebody fucking my girl and me just being like, oh, I love her. No, fuck that. I'm out. Fuck out of here. Yeah, go
Yep.
fuck her. Go fucking
Word.
everybody. You know, fuck out of here.
I feel you
And
there.
fuck
I feel
Tammy.
you
Fuck Sonny. Fucker. Okay.
there.
Like nothing's her fault.
Yeah,
And the fact that she has
and
no
Paul Heyman, bro.
regrets.
And,
And the fact that she has no
and, and
regrets.
Paul and Paul Heyman putting that shit on blast, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that's
fucked
kind of
up.
fucked up.
It
Fucked
is. It
up
is.
big time.
But
But yeah,
ladies and gentlemen,
what an interesting start. What an interesting start to this season of Dark Side of the Ring.
yes. The next
Next week.
episode is what, Punn?
Shit, I don't remember. I fast forwarded
I believe it's
commercials.
Magnum TA, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, but I fast forwarded the commercials, so I really didn't see.
I got you right now. I believe it's Magnum TA. Yeah, it's gonna be Magnum TA.
Which me personally,
Another.
I don't know a lot about his career, so that's gonna be all like news to me. You know,
I started
I
watching. I
sort of
started
say.
watching like old school NWA shit around like 2006 ish, and that's where I really first seen Magnum TA. And then he had a really short career. Tragedy. We're going to talk about that next week on
Yep.
the Dark Side of the Podcast here on the Four Corners Network. On behalf of John Punn and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the Four Corners Podcast and Dark Side of the Podcast here on the Four Corners Network. If you want to stay updated on everything we're doing, no, we don't have it up on the screen for you, but you can do so at number 4 Corners Net. That's at number 4 Corners Net. If you want to catch up with me and things I'll be doing, I got some things in the work soon. You can find me on all social media platforms at Rex Wrestles. That's REX Wrestles. Punn, let them know where they can find you.
I guess you could just find me on all of Chris's platforms at Rex Wrestles. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at John Punn, JONPUNN. Only those 3. That's where you'll find me. Check me out.
Again, thanks each and every one of you for tuning in. As always, be excellent to each other and keep supporting pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.